Hi guys, it's Stephanie. It's Friday, April 30th. It's Friday. It's a good day. That means if you don't work the weekends, then you have not spent it with your friends. Alright, so anyways, thanks again for watching my channel on different aspects and different conversations regarding our transgenderism. Yeah. So anyways, there are some topics I would like to discuss today, and I always make my list based on my experiences. Yes, I do. So anyways, you can't change your family, your friends, or the world. Remember that. That's not why we go through transition, to try to change our friends, our family, or the world. We have to start with a person in the mirror, and that's us. So anyways, there are a few topics here that I'm going to discuss, and what I just described to you is one of them. People who repeatedly, intentionally mispronoun us, becoming invisible to society, handling rejection, your self-respect, and about never opening up about your transition at your workplace. Whoa. Okay, so in the beginning, I, like most of us, had a difficult time going through my transition with my family. What I did in the beginning was I notified every single member in about 3 or 4 different states, my cousins, my aunt, of course my immediate family, about myself and how I had been prior to coming out, the things that I'd done while I was living in the closet. Now, closet, not a regular closet with clothes. I got too many shoes in there to fit. And too many dresses, so that means in private, without anybody's knowledge. So anyways, it was very, very difficult for my family to understand what I've been through. Why? Because I was already on my second marriage when I came out, my second divorce of my second marriage. I'm a late onset transitioner or transgender woman. So that gave them the opportunity to say that I'm not transgender. Why? Because they look back at my past life and the things I did and the things I talked about, my hobbies. They're like investigators. They roll back the hand of time and they talk about stuff like, well, how about all those girls that you dated? Or those motorcycles that you owned? Or the cars that you bought and made a big deal about? And there's nothing wrong with that, with those things. I still enjoy taking a ride in a nice sports car, but I don't own one. I enjoyed my relationships with the women I dated and the women that I were married to. Some of the discussions that I had with my male friends, like I discussed it in my past videos, some of those discussions with male friends are probably not appropriate to discuss. and it would make me feel incredibly uncomfortable to talk about them, because in some aspects I wasn't the person who I was when I had my male friends. In some cases I was trying to be a man, so I acted like one around some of my male friends. Okay, it's that simple. If they were talking about the woman they dated and the woman they had sex with, well, I jumped right in with them because I'm trying to belong or to look part of society. So anyways, they would ask stuff like, well, I don't think you are, or why this and why that. Well, how about when you did bodybuilding? So, well, I was trying to be masculine. I was trying to look like one of the guys. So yeah, I did a little bit of bodybuilding. And if you look at transgender history, we come from all walks of life. I know transgender women that were bodybuilders when they were male. And I know women that were bodybuilders when they were women, or vice versa, or trans men that were bodybuilders when they were women. So what happens is your family will investigate and hammer you to try to tell you that you're wrong. They didn't see it. So when someone is trying to be someone they're not, it's hard, but they simply be like their friends. They belong to a certain crowd of people. Their friends are different, belong to a different crowd. You might be involved with a biker gang, for all I care. My friends were the circles of the gym. I had guy friends who were bodybuilders. So therefore, I would go home often to my ex with a bag of protein powder and vitamins from GNC. All my guy friends did the same thing. They would talk about carbohydrate loading and how much protein they're intaking and all that conversation. But women do it too. So what's the point? But they will look in every little cranny of your life, trying to speculate and find reasons that you're not a woman. Okay. So the other thing I'd like to talk about, when they quit speculating and investigating, and you're starting up with your you're starting up with your transition, it's about that time that you seek out a therapist, a gender therapist, to help you with your transition, to talk about your childhood. First it's done in a private setting with them, at least 3 or 4 sessions. And then you sign up for a local transgender support group. And you hear about everybody else's story. And soon after, your therapist would find you a nice endocrinologist who can help you and prescribe you the hormones you need to proceed with your transition. And when this is happening, your family and your friends, if you live with them still in the same state, they kind of like be a witness to everything. They see how you're progressing. They see the body changes and the hormone results of taking them every single week, every single day. And because if you live close proximity to your family, the changes are very subtle and they don't see the dramatic change because they may see you every day. The people that notice the change when you start hormones are the ones that don't live with you, that live in a different state, or a friend who you haven't seen in a long time, because they didn't see the changes, like changing into a butterfly. You walk into a field, you see a butterfly, but you have to see the caterpillar go from the caterpillar or from the larvae out of all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about, the transition. They're the ones that's really astounded. But what we do along the way with our families, we take before and after pictures, and that's how they see it. They see it in videos, your family home videos, the cookouts, the parties, when you had a beard or goatee, when you were more scruffy. That's how they see it. And along this, there's a lot of mispronunciation of pronouns. They may still refer to you as a he or a him, and occasionally a name slip up. I had that problem for a while, and still, after 20 years, my mother might slip up. What I did that I shouldn't have done with my family was I'd get angry with them. Because according to my therapist, they should do it more than 3 times. So as far as the pronunciation, that's how that goes with family. Some family members may not mispronounce at all. And the first time they're good, up until now. Our mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, our children, it's harder for them. It's harder for them. They're not trying to erase you out of their mind. They're trying. It became we're part of them. We're the same blood. It's ingrained in their brain, their mind, their memory. So what do you expect? I was pretty hard on my family. When they would do it in front of people that didn't know me, it was hard. So sometimes it was very difficult going out with my mom or my dad to a restaurant because sometimes they would mispronounce my name or use the wrong pronoun. So a lot of times I didn't bother going out with them, As a matter of fact, after a couple of years living near my family, I moved to Florida because I wanted to go through my transition without having to go through all that with them. And today, we all get along well, and most of the time they use the right pronoun and there's no name slip up. But it's a struggle, it's hard in the beginning. So that mispronunciation with the pronoun anyway, not your name, the pronoun use can happen at your employment with your coworkers. Even though they've never seen you before, they might see you when you're on the hormone for 3, 4, 5 years, which there's a lot of change by then. You totally look like a woman. You have a feminine ways about you. You have the fat redistribution that's probably maxed out. And sometimes, if you had a very bony, lumpy forehead, if you had a heavy jawline or heavy forehead, brow bossing, or a very masculine nose, you may want to, if you're not okay with your bony facial features, you may want to pursue facial feminization surgeries. It's not cheap, it's expensive. And if I had known better today, that would have been one of the first things that I would have done. But I had my SRS first, and then my FFS. Because nobody can see what's between your legs, unless they're Superman, they have X-ray vision. Hey, what's going on down there? But anyway, so those are the challenges at first that we go through. And the other thing that we experience a lot is rejection. Rejection, you're going to handle that whether you're trans or not, because not everybody has the same things in common. And because we don't have the same things in common, we may not become the best of friends or have anything to do together. But with a transgender person, the rejection is so much harder. you probably already lost some friends, and some of your family members don't talk to you for whatever reason. But like I said, these things go to your personal growth that strengthens you and gives you a thicker skin later on in life. So when it comes to employment, the one thing that I try to tell my transgender friends are never open up about your transgender history at your place of work. It's like giving them ammo. There are reasons why I say that. First, it's really unethical, and it's nobody's business, even if they have an idea that you are, even if they know. Okay, you still don't talk about your transgender past and your procedures and your process at your place of employment. And some of the reasons are that besides reading somebody's language, body language, they can always use it against you later on. And depending on what kind of employment you have, if you work with the public like I do, if you have any discussions about your private life regarding your transgender transition, they're going to share it with their friends and their families. Okay? I had a girlfriend who thought it was so cool to share her before and after pictures with her friends that she worked with. That was a mistake. And she worked with the general public. So what was happening was some of the co-workers that she was sharing this information with would tell her friends that didn't work there, was telling her family that didn't work with her. So during the day, these people would drive to her place of work just to check out the transgender woman. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why I don't discuss it. It's not cool to share your pictures with anybody unless you feel 100% sure they're your friend. Okay? Because when it comes to your place of employment, what I found out in the past 20 years of working in the general public as a job is when you're there as an employee, you're transgender, you never get precedence over a new employee that's non-trans. Okay? And the other thing is, no one you know that's non-trans has anything unique about them than you. You're unique. I'm unique. We're all unique. Okay? What we've been through, they will never go through. And they will never experience. So that's power that you have over them. Okay? When you share that power, you're stripping away your power. So you keep it close to you. They may want to know, but they don't know how to ask you. So they may never ask you. So you never give in. There's only a couple of scenarios that I would give in, and that would be, for example, if I see that I've met someone there that I may have a possible intimate relationship, or it could be a customer that you met that likes you for who you are, that you can open up slowly to them that way. Okay? But don't give away your power to employees. Even your friends, don't do it. Okay? Unless they ask in a private setting and they feel comfortable and they ask you, then if you feel you want to, you can. Okay? So, that's one habit you don't want to get into because it's going to turn against you. The other thing I want to discuss is, for example, when you're out and about on your days off, I'm not sure where you live, but I live in Florida. Every state and every city has bad areas. Yeah. Be very picky about where you go and your surroundings, because I'll give you a quick story. I went to one of the spots that I don't usually go to. It's right near the pier, but it's beautiful. It's not like some cities that's dark and there are alleyways and fishing boats, none of that stuff. This is a beautiful place. It's got palm trees, it's got a kids park, and there's a lot of people because parents bring their kids there and the dads can go fishing while their kids are playing. So one day I went and I was just checking it out. And there's one thing that we develop as trans people that others don't develop as deep as we do. And that's our perception. That's our ability to feel the vibes of other people. When you see someone walking towards you and they don't make eye contact with you, that's because to some degree you're invisible, and that's good. If you're invisible in general public, if you're walking somewhere, if you're in a store and someone's walking towards you, going away from you, they don't make eye contact with you, that's good. That's because they see you like the rest of the crowd. You're blending in. But when someone is staring at you, they're doing a double take and they don't look friendly at all, beware. At one time, something like that happened to me at that place, that fishing pier place. And I went there and I'm just watching everybody have a good time. And there were a couple of guys to my left. They looked kind of shady. And as I kept my eyes on them from time to time, one of the guys leaned over and whispered in the other guy's ear. Now, why did he whisper? The kids are playing, it's loud, there's music in the distance. He whispered. When you whisper in somebody's ear, that's a habit because you're gonna say something that generally doesn't happen, or something that's not usual. So maybe they've never seen a transsexual woman before, and they noticed. So I might have been clocked. And these guys didn't look like nice guys, because as soon as the first guy whispered in his ear, they both looked at me and they turned away. They weren't smiling and they both nodded to one another. That was my sign to leave. I don't want to be there. Okay. Our bodies are not what they seem. I'm a very spiritual person, and I gotta tell you that our outer skin is 7 layers. Our epidermal is the top, and our subdermal are on the bottom. There's 7 layers. Our central nervous system, when we feel something, it sends signals to our skin, which acts like an antenna. When those guys looked at me, the hair on my arms stood up. The little hair I have, the little peach fuzz, stood up. Okay? That's my body and my mind saying, go. You don't belong here. If you ignore those and you stay there for a long time and you keep going there again and again, and those guys are there, you're showing those guys your habit. That's where you like to hang out. And what do you think is going to happen over time? They may go there one time and decide to be friendly with you, when in fact they really don't like you, and they find you appalling. I might be going a little bit on the deep end, but how do you think a lot of these transgender women are getting murdered across the country? Because they let their guard down. They didn't listen to their inner self. Okay, and I think most of us are smart and we listen to our inner voice. Okay, when someone is genuinely friendly with you, they don't whisper in somebody's ear, and they don't stare and make a distasteful look in their face. Okay, because they probably go there all the time. You don't want to let your guard down, go back there, and there's more than them. And by this time, they try to make friends with you. And if you think they're your friends, you got another thing coming. So, anyways, this is a subject that can go on and on and on. And I'm going to save the rest for another video. But if you think this conversation has opened up your eyes in some ways or contributed to your transition, if you're just coming out, even if you're not just coming out, hit that subscribe button and be informed of some more videos, because I have tons of stuff to talk about with you guys. And I love my trans sisters, and I wish everybody safe and well, and best of health in this crazy 2 years we're having. And I'll be talking to you guys soon. Love you guys.